According to P-Funk mythology, the funk came from outer space. It flew through the cosmos for years until it chose Earth to descend upon and shared its cosmic secrets. As George Clinton prepares to board the mothership for his final ever tour, we look back at Funkadelic, born out of what could only be described as funky, psychedelic chaos. So what is the funk anyway? Well, the only real way to hear it is from Clinton himself.
It's that element that makes you shake your booty. It's any dance music that's got that groove in it that makes you want to dance and get into it with your ass, with your butt. And most dance music have that. So you got to have some funk. That's the part of the music that is the funk. So anything that makes you shake your ass is going to be funky.
For the heights and highs to which Funkadelic soared, they had humble beginnings. The group started life as a backup section for Clinton's doo-wop group, the Parliaments. This was 1964, and there wasn't a whole lot funky about it for a good while. Members came and went, with most of the original group leaving to join the war effort. It wasn't until '67 that most of the recording lineup had been recruited, including a promising guitarist by the name of Eddie Hazel, just 17 years young. In '68, Clinton's record label, Revolt, claimed they owned the name The Parliaments. And instead of disputing, Clinton simply turned to his backup plan, 2 bands. Funkadelic were mingling with acid rock and soul, while Parliament would stay on the dancier side of funk. Headed by Clinton, the uber-creative collective blossomed. Regardless of the difference between the two, the decade was rolling over, and the mothership had well and truly landed on Earth. As Funkadelic were heavily influenced by rock music, they had no trouble mingling with that side of the music spectrum. They soon made themselves a prominent act in the Detroit rock scene and shared management with the Stooges, the Amboy Dukes and MC5, all under the wing of Ted Nugent. A particular friendship was found in Iggy Pop, and even though their music didn't hold a lot of resemblances, the band's onstage and offstage antics surely did.
That was always crazy, and they call us the Bad Boys of Ann Arbor, all of us. And they had Cream magazine, was the rock and roll magazine. They had stories in there that Iggy Pop and George Clinton was going to get married. That was back when he was cutting himself up with glass, looking like a chicken walking down in those days, and I was running around in a diaper. Oh yeah, we had lots of crazy gigs together.
You would think that George and Iggy were trying to outdo each other, and in a way, they were. They were both renegades, agents of the world's growing obsession with sex, drugs, punk, and funk. It's no stretch to say they shaped one another's cosmic voyages.
I think we probably had an impact on them, because we were already really psychedelic, and by the time we met them, we were really pretty crazy. I think they had a lot to do with what punk rock became.
Despite the great music and crude laughs of D-Town's music scene, the city was socially defunct. The police force were even enforcing segregation in most aspects of life. However, in response, Detroit also had become a hotspot for the Black Power movement, civil rights, and protests against the Vietnam War. Funkadelic were boiling in a particularly political stew, which lingered in the minds of the band as they began to brew Maggot Brain. By now, Clinton wasn't hiding the fact that LSD was his secret ingredient, and he was getting the band tripping on any whim. His aim was to inspire Funkadelic to try new things and express their rawest, most stripped-back, primal emotions. Tensions were beginning to fray. Clinton's role was a producer and songwriter, but he was also the main instigator of the band's zany antics. As such, the chaotic finesse of Maggot Brain also represented the final moments of Funkadelic's original lineup. A year after the album was released, keyboardist Bernie Worrell remained the only original member. Drummer Tiki Fullwood was given the sack for his heroin addiction, but he would rejoin the band a few years down the track. Hazel spent a year in jail after attacking an air stewardess while he was on PCP. Billy Bass Nelson quit over cash quarrels with Clinton, and then there was drummer Tor Ross. Poor Tor Ross had the most impressive exit of all. To celebrate Maggot Brain's success, Ross and Nelson engaged in an acid eating contest. The rules? To eat as much acid as humanly possible. It started with 1 dose, then 2, 3 became 5, at which point Nelson tapped out. But Ross, he kept going, all the way to 12. It's rumoured the reigning champion saw his dead mother reach out to him from a coffin. Time to call it a night then, right? Wrong. Ross washed his lethargic dinner down with a line of raw speed, left the group, lost his mind, and ended up wandering around Newark for many years. Following this, Clinton replaced his entire rhythm section with defectors from James Brown's own band, including the legendary Bootsy Collins, who would go on to create a new direction for Funkadelic. However, without the original ragtag group of warlocks, the band would never be quite the same again. There were maggots in the minds of the universe, and they infected these psychonauts who sought the mothership's cosmic secrets. Few went where they dared to go, but one has to ask, would they have made the music they made if they weren't as insane?